Okay, so I've got the outer cover off. Just take off this electronic ignition gadget. If I can break it off the taper. There we go. Kickstart spring next. I'm not sure where the other end of the spring goes, but I'm sure it will become apparent any minute. Will it come off? Whoops, okay. So how am I going to get that back on? Okay, it just goes, that hooks under there. That needs to come around there. It's going to be fun. Oh well. Nice little needle roller bearing in there. So I'm not planning on dismantling the clutch. So I think that means taking this off so the shafts can drop through that way rather than lifting the whole gear cluster out, which needs the primary drive disassembled. So, see if I can get that nut off. See if inertia will work. Probably not. Oh, there you go. It did. Okay, so there's the nut, splined ratchet, and the gear. Slightly, you see some shiny wear marks on there, but it's not bad at all. It's easily got a good grip on there, which is encouraging. So it's a little bush and the light spring that keeps the gear engaged or not engaged, depending on which way the kickstart's running. Little recess in there that this just fits into. Yeah, looks good. Okay, let's give this a go. Good, that's relatively straightforward. So those are the same length, near enough. That's a short one, because they're all different lengths again. Those are the same. Oops, that's the same. That's the same. So these four are the same. This one's intermediate, and these two are short. Okay, at least I've got that on video. I can hopefully get those back in the right place. Although I've actually ordered some Allen bolts, Allen screws rather. So I'll probably replace these anyway. Okay, so I've just worked out that this peg is actually a retaining screw for the cover as well, I think. Which explains why the manual says to take it out. I wonder if that's true. Yes, it is. That makes more sense. Okay. Okay, so that's a screw extractor, but just gives me enough purchase to get that out. Good, doesn't look too bad. So will that cam plate stay behind now? Oop. something sticking somewhere. I think it's this inner race. Yeah, it is. Just slight snagging. It's a shame. Maybe a light tap. Let's get that rod out first. So I'll lift the weight of the engine, let that help me. I suppose that's so tight, but then it should be tight on the inner race, I guess. Oh, there we go. Should certainly be snug on the inner race. So, cam plate. Yeah, looks okay. Something that the C15 didn't have is this adjustment on the gear change spring. That is a eccentric. So you can twist this, and it presumably just adjusts the spring from side to side and in and out. I don't fully understand how that works, but oops, what was that? Something just fell out. What's this? Which must have been in here, mustn't it? So it's the stop for the kickstart. That must go in that way, mustn't it? It's got a little circle on it. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm just going to get these surfaces really clean and free of oil and the old gasket material. Looks of it has been reassembled without a gasket at all, which is fair enough. And just some goo. So I think I'll do the same. I'll put well seal on without a gasket. All the surfaces look pretty good. So the motor looks in generally good condition throughout. So if I'd realised that the sump plate was the issue, I could have saved myself a lot of time. But interesting to see inside anyway. And obviously I found out that the engine has a big bore kit on it, a 580cc factory one by the looks of it. So yeah, interesting. So hopefully I can fix the scavenging problem and the thing will run much better. So one of the reasons for taking this apart from the poor scavenging, which I realised now I could have fixed without taking the bike apart or the engine apart, but yeah, the other reason is to try and stop the wet sumping. So I've taken out the non-return valve, which looks okay. I mean, the seal looks okay, but the spring looks to be too short. There's the ball and the spring, which fit in here with this plug to hold them in place. So basically, the pump overcomes the ball on its seat and pushes all past here into the end feed to the crank, which is, in other words, through here. So I've got a bit of oil in it. Anyway, so that is short, and the ball is indeed 1/4 inch, but I need to have a look at it properly, I suppose. But it's bang on 1/4 inch as you'd expect. So it looks fine, but there's a possibility, I guess, that it's corroded slightly, seeing as it's been stood for so long. It may have been sat on the same position for years, even without oil perhaps. So it looks okay, but I'll check it with a magnifying glass. On the other hand, I'll try and get a replacement ball bearing. And so this should be 5/8 apparently, and it definitely isn't. And that's ½ inch, near enough, and it's less than ½ inch. So it's not being pressed onto the seat as hard as it should be by the looks of it. So that might affect the wet sumping as well. There you go, 5/8. Well, that's way short. That should be 5/8 long, and that's a good. That's good, nearly 5 mils short. Anyway, I'll get another one of those, and that might help things. And I'll seat it properly on the inside of the cover. Interesting. That's quite promising, really. If that is indeed faulty, that's good to know because I can fix that. So I got this set of seals, which claims to be B50, 71, 72, along with all these other models. So hopefully these fit. I think all the bearings are okay. I mean, this bearing, for instance, they're all fine. So I hope these are the correct seals. And this one looks as if it should fit here. Is that right? I'll try it on the other shaft. That definitely looks promising, doesn't it? And the end seal for the end feed, and the seal for the crankshaft end feed, could well be that one. Couldn't it? Looks about right. Anyway, that seat down there needs to be perfect. And I'm looking down there, it doesn't quite look it. Again, I'll find a way of looking down at that better, because the ball bearing, I actually ordered a new one. The ball bearing needs to, there we go, magnetic, needs to be a perfect fit onto that aluminium seat. So I'll knock that in with a drift to compress it against the aluminium and just make sure that seat is a perfect 1/4 inch spherical seat. And I say with the right length spring, hopefully it'll be pressed against it firmly enough to keep it sealed. So might as well replace these seals while I'm here, seeing as I've got new ones anyway. Is this going to work? This is where it flicks across the room, of course. There we go. Oh, so that seems to do the trick. Just this, it's not really a hook, just a slightly bent tool of some sort. So you can see how this would pop out just with the oil pressure if it went for that circling. There we go. Oop. Oh, it's, looks like the seal has got partly trapped in the circlip groove. Rubbery residue left in there. Okay, so there's the drilling down to here. And that one comes up to the oil pressure gauge tapping, which is blanked off. So I'll blow that through with an air gun. Just make sure that that passageway is clear. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah. So just blow out these oil holes. So this should just press in here. this side slightly. Yep, looks good. So this circlip should just fit back in there. Yeah, that's in properly. So the next thing to do is to get this non-return valve back together, get the new ball in it and a new spring, and make sure it seizes properly. Try and stop the wet sumping, and also sort out this sump plate so I can get that scavenging problem put to bed. I'll probably machine a bit out of this, I think, because it's quite thick, and I'll also modify the pickup pipe, but definitely make sure it's not going to starve the scavenge pump. So thanks for watching.